Hi you guys, my name is Oshun the Great, and welcome to my beautiful channel. Now, I realized that I never really touched on the gun issue in America, so I wanted to express my opinions on that or whatever. To be honest, I feel like America is one of the most unsafe places to live, especially being a black woman. Being a woman for one, because of you have all the rape culture here. Being black, because you just get killed for existing, so it can be very scary to exist in this kind of society. And I feel like I just document my series, to be honest, because people need to know what it's like all around the world, and even people need to wake up to the realities here that we face and endure. Now, me, I have been in a lot of crazy situations that I have not yet told you guys, and I guess I'm going to use this video to kind of tell you guys, elaborate on a lot of situations I have been in, especially trusting my white allies or even like Spanish friends who are conditioned to feel like they are more European than anything. But overall, before we get to my stories, overall, the gun craziness in America is ridiculous because it gives people power to act out and power to be who they want to be, but not who they really are. Meaning, you have a lot of people who have balls and kahunas, act like they're a big man because they have a gun, but without that gun, they're really weak, or they really, wouldn't be saying the things that they say, whether it's racist comments, whether it's things against women, or whatever the case may be. You have a lot of people who are once you put a gun in their hand, you can't tell them shit. And I feel like that is very detrimental to our society. It's not a good thing that our society has that, because you have a lot of people who have power in their hands that do not need that type of power. And you're a lot of people playing God, and a lot of people who feel like their opinion matters more now because they have guns, or they can say the N-word, or that they can do this and that because they have guns, because knowing damn well they couldn't fight one-on-one, fist fight, or even that they would not fight at all, or be as violent without them. So I feel like it just gives us a lot of power where there shouldn't be any. And a lot of that does also reside in our policemen, our police force, as well. You have a lot of mentally unstable people with guns. Now, as far as my white allies that I fucking dealt with, or not even allies, I'm just gonna say past allies, or past people who I've turned to for help, or whatever the case may have been. Now, the craziest thing is my first workaway situation was with a white family who played to be open-minded. They played to want to know about my background, and I hope they see this too, because they were dead wrong for this shit. I was nice as I could be, didn't matter. They were still showing me videos about like how black people come off very monstrous and shit, and I would say everything in my power, like, oh, this is how we view it, and they try to be open and shit. But one of the things that I found was foul is that one of the workaway situations. Workaway is where you exchange a few hours of work in someone's house for free room and board. And in this situation, I was babysitting for someone, and this family was really, I guess, gun crazy, low key. And I'm surprised I survived a lot of these situations, to be honest, because I find myself trying to try new things. But in this country, you have to be careful, and hopefully you guys learn from me, because I made it out by the grace of God in a lot of these situations. But this family, I guess I don't know if they were playing or whatever, but play like this is like they found themselves taking out their gun in front of me, cleaning it and shit like that, and I expressed how uncomfortable I was, and they continued to, the woman in this situation felt like it was a joke or some shit. And knowing the black killings in America, I don't fuck with that shit. So, and they had the nerve to ask me why I felt the way I did about it. And first of all, you a white motherfucker with a gun, and you sitting here talking about racism with me. I don't know if you're vindictive or have an agenda behind it, which ultimately I felt like they did. And ultimately I did not forgive them for this, but knowing the reason why people act the way they do in this country, fearing black people, that's why I understand that's why that played out. But you don't have anyone in your house, for one, if you're scared of them, and playing open-mindedness to then use it against them. and things of that nature. So yeah, guns do that. Guns, when you give people guns, they think they have the right to act out or treat someone any type of way because, oh, now I'm protected, now I'm this, and you never want to, again, another thing for a black person, you never want to be in a situation where you're isolated from other black people. Yes, there are black people who are bad too, but then you don't want to be in a situation where you're isolating yourself with white families, because then they feel like it's free game to treat you however, whether it's you know, acting out of your I mean, they're not putting your well-being in mind, basically. So that's what you need to be worried about, especially if you're interracial dating, things like that, and you're like isolating yourself from the black community. You never want to put yourself in a situation where, especially if you're speaking your mind, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you could be in danger. But yeah, because a lot of people act crazy when they have guns. They think they can just get away with a lot of things, and knowing damn well they have no right or shouldn't be doing what they're doing. Karma comes into play with this shit too. But another thing, as far as the guns, yeah, I had another, again, another white boy talk to me crazy too, because again, they have figured out snooping around his house, because again, these are people who, in my time of need, can want to help or whatever per se, but really they want to take their issues out on. This is another thing you have to be worried about, especially being black in America. Take their issues out on you. And honestly, you never know to what extent these types of people go, like, to make sure your well-being, they don't have your well-being in mind, basically. So when I was snooping around the last white boy's house I was at, who claimed to want to help me in a vulnerable situation, which I should learn, obviously I learned my lessons the hard way, found out he had a gun, and I was like, oh, that's why you speaking to me crazy. Next day I was out. So this is what I feel like the power of guns give people in this country. And honestly, everyone's so like, oh, my gun's this, my gun's that, and you know, take that shit away, they'll go berserk. But then they can't understand the rights of everyone else in this country, and they feel like it's okay to take a life for no reason, which to me is insane. A lot of how America works is insanity, to be honest, and that's just how I feel. But that's a little insight, you guys, and like some stories or whatever. But yeah, what I've learned from these situations is that I would never ever put myself in these kind of situations again. Honestly, I always touch on, I don't hate white people, but from the experiences that I had back to back, I'm very weary of their culture and how they were brought up, and what they tend to pass down to their generations and generations, especially in America, and especially being so gun crazy. And you just got to be careful out here. But yeah, that's it, you guys. That's my little outlook. Tell me what you think. I'm open all the time. Be dope, be unapologetically. Peace.